Welcome everyone to our weekly Wednesday Lunch and Learn live at noon, where we discuss strategies for creating wealth through real estate investing on our lunch break. I am Coach Sapphire Star at Organized Chaos, where we teach our clients how to empower their money mindset, master their finances, and own their future through real estate investing. I would love for you, when you come into the live, as well as in the replay and on our YouTube channel, please put in the comment and chat section where you are logging in from today. Thank you so much for joining us. And today we are going to talk about how to run comparative analysis for a potential investment property. If you haven't watched my live from last week, make sure that you go back and watch our live where I discuss how to run numbers on a investment property, whether it's a fix and flip or a buy and hold. We have those replays on our YouTube channel as well as in our Facebook community. If you have not joined our community, what are you waiting on? You are missing out. It's a great opportunity to connect with like-minded people who want to get involved in real estate. And I always stress the importance of taking action and networking when you become a real estate investor, especially with little experience, a little money. Networking and joining communities is a great way to get started on your journey. Additionally, a lot of people have been asking me, man, Sapphire, I want to learn more about investing in real estate with little money, with little experience. I want to learn about how I can do creative financing if I don't have the ability to have access to traditional financing. And I would encourage you to check out, other side, check out my website here at sapphirestar.com. Enter our website, and we will be rolling out very soon our one-day real estate jumpstart boot camp. I highly encourage you to join the wait list because when it rolls out, you'll have access to early discounted prices. So definitely join the wait list, and I look forward to attending that boot camp with you and learning and teaching how to get started in real estate for beginners. Now, what is a comparative analysis? A comparative analysis is an analysis where you are looking at other properties in a particular market and you're comparing the value to see if the potential property that you want to invest in, is it a good deal? Is it offered at a good price? In the real estate space, this is also known as running your comps. When you're running your comps, you want to make sure that you are comparing apples to apples because this can make or break your deal. As a new real estate investor, and even as someone who's been in the game for a while, you know there may be this reluctance or this thought that, man, I don't want to overpay for a deal, because if you overpay for a deal, that's going to impact your cash flow. And that is not why we get into real estate. We don't get into real estate to lose money. Warren Buffett has a great quote when he talks about the two rules in investing. Number one is never lose money. Number two is always remember number one. So same thing applies when we're talking about real estate investing. So it's very important to know and understand how to run your comps. When running comps, again, you want to compare houses that are in the same location as your or market as the potential property that you want to invest in. You want to compare the size of the square footage of the property. And let me back up a little bit. There's two values when you're doing your comparative analysis that you are looking for. You're looking for the fair market value, which is the as is value of the property. And you're also doing what is called an ARV, after repair value. So just depending on what your acquisition and exit strategy is when you are investing, you want to be able to see what these numbers are and be able to calculate these numbers, because the ARV is in our Mayo calculation, and the Mayo calculation is the maximum allowable offer, or the maximum amount of money that you can offer on a potential property for it to be a good deal. So again, you want to compare the market. You want to compare properties that are in similar square footage. When we're looking at square footage, we want to consider properties our general rule is 20% plus or minus. So plus or minus 20% on the square footage. We're looking at the age of the property. We want to look at properties that are within that 20-year range. We don't look at anything more than 20 years. And then we want to look at bedroom, bathroom. Make sure those things are similar. Now, I'm going to quickly share my screen and show you how you can run a comparative analysis on Zillow. I typically use PropStream. That is a paid service. It's worth every dollar. I'm going to tell you right now. But I know some people starting out, they may not have the funds. So I'm always sharing with people how you can do things for the free 99. So I'm going to quickly share my screen. And again, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to put them in the comment section or put them in the chat, and I will be more than happy to assist you with any questions you may have. Now we're going to find just a random property for sale, and let's look in the market of Savannah, Georgia. And I saw this on Zillow earlier, and I've saved it so we can use this as our example for today. Now, from our live from last week, we talked about the first step to running numbers on a property is the location, but also the first thing you need to look for is you need to gather your financial information, your financial data, or the property details for the property, not the financial data. You want to gather the property details. I got a tongue tie there. Now, this is what we're looking at. We have the asking price of $319, and we're trying to figure out, man, is this a good deal or not? Is this what they're asking, something that I can pay and still be able to make money? So the ask price is $319. We have the address. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,388 square feet. Now, what I do is I also look at the pictures to see, okay, what the property looks like, because as I'm comparing it to other properties, I want to make sure I am comparing apples to apples. So here is the property, the pictures there. Now, other thing I forgot to mention when we're looking at the property details is the age of the property. It was built in 2024. So right at 20 years, right at 20 years. And I go and look and see, just briefly look at the description, how long it's been on the market. These are all things that are very important and come into play when you're analyzing your deal, but also when you are negotiating deals, because the longer a property has been on the market, the more motivated the seller may be to sell, and you may be able to get that property at a discount. But again, we need to run to the numbers to see, okay, what is a discount? So what I do here is I want to see where exactly is this property located, kind of give me an idea. So we want to click on the map area here, and we can kind of see the what is this? I can't really see. I'm blind as a bat. Donovan Drive. So it's around Donovan Drive. Now I'm gonna zoom out a little bit to kind of see, okay, what we're looking at in terms of where this property is to kind of give me some markers. We see we have a highway here, and when you're doing your comps, be sure not to cross over major waterways, highways, because the neighborhoods and the prices can drastically change. We see we have Ogeechee Farms nearby. Let's zoom in a little bit more. We have Ogeechee Farms here nearby. So I'm going to close it out. Just make a mental note of roughly where the property is. All right, close this out. Now we're going to go back to search. And it's going to go back to that general area where the property is. And now we are looking for sold comps. We are looking for properties. When you're doing a comparative analysis, you're looking for homes or houses that sold within the last 6 months, within no more than a 1-mile radius from the potential property. And this is important because when appraisers are evaluating homes for valuation, they're looking anywhere from a half mile to a mile radius. The only time they look outside of a mile is if there is absolutely no comps that are anywhere close to the type of property that you are interested in. So when you're running your comps, we're looking at 6 months within a mile radius. So remember Ogeechee Farms, remember the highway here. So we're going to remove this boundary here, and we're going to zoom in a little bit. And another thing too, when you're looking at comps, there's 2 ways you can look at comps. You can look at comps as average price of sold homes, and you can also look at average square price per square feet. Okay, so let's zoom in here and kind of get in the area of, and we know our target property was around this area. And usually I use about 4 to 5 comps is good to kind of get your average. So we want to know, is that 319 a good price? All right, so we're gonna zoom in just a little bit more, zoom out, and make sure your filters here are set. So we have sold. I don't touch the price. This is a 3-2, so I want it to be at least a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Then we come to the home type. Remember, apple to apples. This is a single family home, so we want to make sure the house is selected. Then we're going to go to the square footage. Now, the square footage on this property was 1388. Remember, I said you don't want to do, I do plus or minus 20%. So I'm going to take the 1388 and multiply that times 20%. That's going to give me 278. So I'm going to do the square footage of the house that we're looking at is 1388. So it's going to be minus the 278. So minus 20%, which is 1110 square feet. So let's go here and find, and Zillow gives you a range. So it's okay to, it may not be exact, but that's fine. So let's go with 1,000 minimum, and then plus 20%. So that 1388 plus the 278, that's 1666. So again, let's come here and find, and we got 1750. Now that's typically the only thing I touch here is the square footage, and then also at least sold in the last 6 months. You add that filter there, you want to apply it. And we have about 15 properties here. Now we're going to just kind of skim over the numbers here to see what we have. I wouldn't necessarily include this property here because it's a 4-2. So I wouldn't include that number there. But here we have a 3-2 on Restona Drive that's sold for $252,000. This recently sold. So this is a really good comp here. We can use that. There's no pictures. So it's really, sometimes it's hard to see, you know, when you're evaluating if they don't have any inside pictures, but we do the best we can with the outside view, because obviously once we get to the point of making an offer, we can always do our due diligence and make an appointment to go see the property. All right, so we have 252. This looks a little different than our property. This looks like is much newer. I'm not sure if I would use that. I'm gonna pull back up our property in question so we can have that to kind of look at. You see this a brick there. That property, where did it go? This property looks a little different. I don't know if I wouldn't necessarily include this one. This is a good comp here. Is brick facing there, has the garage. That's another thing too. Make sure you're comparing houses. If it has a garage, compare it to a house that has a garage and not one that does not have a garage. Garage, that's important. Also, if it's, single floor, I mean, if it's, I'm trying to say double floor, but that's not what I want to say, but you know what I mean. 2 stories, gosh. 2 stories, or if it's a 1 floor. So let's see, we have 225. I'm sorry, 252, a little dyslexic there, at 1050 square feet. We got this one here, 323 at 1259. This looks like it's a good comp here. 310. And let's just find, this is 310 at 1589. And let's just find one more comp. What is this one here? Let's see if we can find one more comp. Maybe. Oh, here's one. This is one. We'll use that 295 at 1416. Now, those are 4 comps. We're going to take the average of those comps for average median price for properties in this area. So we got 252 plus 323 plus 310 plus 295 equals, and then we divide that by 4 to get the average. The average home is selling for $295,000. But also, let's look and see, because remember I told you we look at the value for average price, but also price per square foot, or PPSQFT. So we have 1050 plus 1259. I'm just adding up the square footage, plus 1589 plus 1400 divided by 4. That's giving us a average square foot of 1324. In order to get the price per square feet, you just take the 295 and divide it by the 1324. So 295, which is our average median price, divided by 1324. That's giving us $220 per square feet. Now, our property was $1385. And if we took the square foot of our property of $1385 and we multiply that by the price per square feet, that gives us $307,000. So the average price is $295, but if we did price per square foot, we're getting $307,970. Now, the asking price for this property is, let's go back, is $319. Now you have to ask yourself, he's like, well, wait a minute, is this number, what they're asking, is this a fair price that they're asking? And the question is, you have to ask yourself as an investor, you have to assess that. The average cost is 307, they're asking 319. They're not asking anything significantly over what is being asked in the neighborhood. But this also can be a negotiating tool for you to make an counter offer to what they are asking based on the comps in the neighborhood. Once you have, let me stop the share here. Once you have the comps, now you can go a step further and run your numbers with the 4 boxes where we talked about in the last live. Your income, your expenses, to figure out what your net operating income is. Then from there, you can figure out what your cash flow is per month and what it is per year. Figure out what your debt service is. And lastly, what is your cash on cash return or return on investment in the first year? And is this a good return for your money? Are you getting more than you would get if you were to put your money anywhere else, like the stock market, something greater than 10%? So that is really a really quick and rough way to be able to run your comps, to begin your running your numbers for a deal. Do we have any questions?
I do not at this time.
Awesome. I think we have a few people that